Top of the day to you all out there. I say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on your time zone. A lot of people have asked me, why are you campaigning for Kingsley MUGHALU? What has Kingsley MUGHALU got to offer? I want to say it categorically clear. I have not met Kingsley MUGHALU, although I'm trying to get in touch with him to see his plan. My fear is that Kingsley MUGHALU is in a not an inferior party, but he's in a minor party. The two parties that most people know in Nigeria is the APC and the PDP. And these two parties has consciously connived to drag Nigeria back because of individuals, members' selfish interests. So I am not vying, I am not praying that the president of Nigeria should come from these two parties. Does it mean there's nobody in this party that can carry Nigeria to the next level? Yes, there are. There are probably few in these parties, these two parties that can carry Nigeria to the next level. But there is this saying that tell me who your friends are, then I'll tell you who you are. They cannot really make a difference when they are surrounded by thieves, by people who have these dubious minded Nigerians that only think about what they are going to benefit and do not think as Nigeria as a collective. So that is why in any TV, me and my crew, we are asking that people should please try as much as possible to check. Look at what Kingsley MUGHALU have to offer. Kingsley MUGHALU might not be the only answer to Nigeria's problem. There could be many other Nigerians, but these people are not given the chance. And that is why we are calling on all to please listen to this video. See how Kingsley MUGHALU have discussed the way to tackle the oil subsidy that has been a bone in our throat for the past 6-7 years. Listen to this video. Then at the end of this video, and tell me if this man does not have an idea on how to go about this great country. You just watch. So many millions. Thank you. In terms of repairing them, I think in 2021, the NNPC spent 100 billion naira on refinery repairs. And in 2020, we spent $43 billion on, refined petroleum products importation. This is not sustainable. So we have to get our refineries working. That's very important. And one of the reasons the state refineries have collapsed, despite having 445,000 million barrels per day ability, is just because of the inefficiency and the incompetence of economic management in the Nigerian state. That's what's happening. So there are several layers of problems. But I think the first is to say, what do we do for the poor people if we remove petroleum subsidy? How can we plan for that to make sure that the impact of the removal and subsidy on the poor is not significant? That's the first place to start. Once we make those investments, and it could take a couple of years or so, then you go ahead to remove the subsidy. Because what happens is that when you leave these kinds of things to the market, eventually they'll find their proper level. That's what happened with GSM. At the beginning of the deregulation of the telecommunication space, it was very expensive. Today, you can get a SIM card for nothing.
There are a few things that is wrong with the economy as we speak. And perhaps, I'm going to ask you this question because I know you have interest in sitting on the president's seat come 2023. So, and if you want that kind of position, you perhaps may be figuring out how to solve some of Nigeria's problems. You saw what happened in terms of inflation, the CPI latest report, and all of that, and the state of things generally, economically speaking. You know how much of time Nigerians queued at the filling station. You know how much the price of diesel stands right now. The issue of inflation, the exchange rate, and a whole lot of that. Should you be president, if you were elected president, do you have a solution to our economic woes?
Yes, I think I do. First of all, that solution will not come only from me, because no one does it all. I would certainly work with a dream team of economic experts, to help me manage the economy, and combine with my own knowledge and experience, combining that knowledge and experience with people who might have superior knowledge, we will be able to do quite well in managing the economy. Let me tell you the secret. You see, for you to manage an economy such as Nigeria, you have to begin from a philosophical foundation. Are we a capitalist country? If we are, what is the balance between the state and the market? Because if you distort that balance, you have inefficiencies, such as we have with the petroleum situation today in Nigeria, such as we have with the foreign exchange situation in Nigeria. When you interfere with the free market, you create black markets. That's what happens. So, the first place to begin is this. What type of capitalism are we practicing in Nigeria? Is it welfare capitalism? Is it entrepreneurial capitalism? Is it state capitalism? Is it crony capitalism? There are different types of capitalism. And if you want to be a capitalist state, what I recommend for Nigeria is a combination of entrepreneurial capitalism and welfare capitalism. But you must first create the wealth before you can take care of the poor and the aged. The old people whose pensions and social security is not assured. My government, a government that I lead, would make sure that people who have worked for many years of their life for Nigeria do not spend their old age in regret. But you must do some things to make sure that situation is what actually exists. Let me explain. You can't be capitalist without three things successfully. You cannot be a successful capitalist economy without three things. One, property rights. Two, innovation. Three, access to capital. These are the first three things you must secure. What do I mean by property rights? The state owns all the land. Because the state owns all the land, the potential wealth that can be created from land and property as a factor of production is just not there. You see, there was a reason for the Land Use Act when it was passed, but I think it has outlived its usefulness. The second is innovation. Every economy that is prosperous in the world is based on people innovating, inventing things, commercializing the things they invent, and putting them into the market. And this process is going on every day.
So, Prof, apologies if I cut into your, inflation rate has hit 15.92%. Prices of gas has risen. Now, let me ask you these quick questions. First and foremost, is there anything you think that this government is doing wrongly that is getting us to this point?
Yes, I have been very honest as a citizen in saying that I do not think that the management of Nigeria's economy has been as competent as it ought to be. There is too much government in the Nigerian economy, and that is one of the things that is creating economic problems for Nigeria. The Nigerian government is too involved in the marketplace. And it creates distortion, factoring economy, exporting value-added goods. But you rely on one product, which is crude oil, for your foreign exchange earnings. You are bound to have problems. So we must go back to this issue of what do we do to diversify the economy so that we export value-added products, not exporting raw agricultural products. No, that's not what I mean. When I talk about diversification, I mean, forex diversification. What earns foreign exchange for Nigeria? So this is one area where I think we have not done very well. The management of Nigeria's forex policy, I have problems with it. I think the attempt to control the price of forex has backfired, and the naira just keeps heading towards 1,000 naira a dollar, despite every effort of the central bank. It's because we're not getting the philosophical fundamentals right. You talk about inflation. Inflation, when we left the central bank in 2014, where I was deputy governor and a member of the Monetary Policy Committee, we had brought inflation down from 13-14% down to 8%. How did we do it? We did it with controlling the money supply, with jacking up interest rates. Yes, you must. But some people will come back and tell you that if the interest rates are high, people will not have access to credit. How many people are getting access to credit in Nigeria today? Very few. And so the central bank is being turned into a commercial bank so that people can get low interest loans. So these are some of the fundamentals that are not...
Another question perhaps that I'd like you to help look at is the fact that you've talked about subsidy. Those who say, look, in this political season, it might be too difficult to handle it. Now we have it. But going into the new year also, a new government might be coming into, it gets about the mid of the next year. But we are faced with another reality. That will the government remove it or not? What is a perfect solution for this issue of subsidy? There are those who believe that there are hands of those who are manipulating the system in this issue of subsidy, and they are gaining and benefiting from the woes and the pains of Nigerians. What would you do if you have the opportunity to take action or make a solution in that respect?
Well, thank you, because I certainly hope that I will be the next president of Nigeria. And therefore, I'm not in the business of having pity on myself, even though that I know I would, in that scenario, inherit a very, very depressed economy, including this problem of subsidy. So the matter of subsidy, this government has moved it forward. I can understand they're not wanting to take the political risk at this time. But I think that very early in the life of any administration, that administration must have an honest dialogue with Nigerians. Show Nigerians the way that we want to go concerning the petroleum subsidy. We will educate Nigerians about the economics of the subsidy, why it is no longer, it cannot be sustained over the long haul. We will not necessarily remove it immediately we come in, but we will begin to implement some of these investments that I talked to you about the public transportation system and how that can shield poor people when you eventually remove the subsidy. That's the job for the first year or two. But eventually, the subsidy must go. It's not sustainable. And by then, of course, Dangote Refinery, hopefully, should be on stream sometime in 2023. So it's a very difficult issue. But somebody has to grapple with it with courage, with knowledge, and with competence and transparency. You see, there's a lot of corruption in the subsidy scheme. We all know that. Many people have called it, a scheme for sleaze. There's a lot of fraud, but that's because the subsidy exists in the first place. If it was just the market price determining the price of fuel, there's no loophole for fraud. You see what I'm saying? How much fraud is happening in the telecommunications industry? No, you just go and buy your phone or you buy your SIM card.
All right, Prof. We're due for a break in just about a minute. But just quickly, if you can tell us, there's a lot of oil theft going on in the country as we speak. Yes. Perhaps more than we've seen in a long time. The magnitude of the oil theft going on in the country right now. How do we stop that kind of scenario?
It's a security problem. And Nigeria's security is heavily challenged on all fronts, whether it is the security of oil production and transportation, or the security of lives and property in terms of bandits and terrorists. Our security is challenged all around. It's a security problem. And it's also a problem of governance. You see, corruption walks on four legs in Nigeria now. It's the corruption industrial complex. But there is no accountability for corruption in Nigeria. And so there is an incentive for it to continue to grow ever more serious. So this is what is happening. It's a security problem, period. And it's a governance issue as well.
All right. We'll get into a few of those issues, but I was going to ask you, if you become Nigeria's president, would you cut down on the presidential fleet? One, would you stop? Would you cut down on the cars that you have on your entourage? Would you do that? And how will you cut cost of governance also?
Yes, absolutely. We will cut all these things that are not necessary, but without compromising the security of the president or the security of the state. Remember what killed Murtala Mohammed? We don't want that. But at the same time, we will not encourage all these long convoys and wasteful use of state resources. I will not encourage that at all. I will be very
after watching that video, you have seen how he has systematically tackled this issue about how to improve this country. He has said there are 4 things a government can do: the welfare of its citizens, protect life and security of its citizens. But how can you protect life, give welfare to your citizens, if you have not capital, you don't have the resources, you have not been able to generate wealth? How can you distribute this wealth? So he is an economist. He also talked about how the national income, what he has to do. Then he talks about the international policies. Surely this is the man that have the idea on how to move this country to the next level. So our fans out there, if it's the first time you've seen our video, this is INI TV. We are global and social commentators. We ask you to follow our channel, subscribe to our channel, like and comment too. Your opinion is important to us. Like the saying goes, it takes 2 to tango. One person know they know I'm finished now. Let's hear your opinion. And for our regular subscribers, we'll say thank you, and thank you. Like we always say in this channel, we will catch you when we make the next video. Until then, we'll say chooks, bye bye, adios, hasta la vista. Remember, it is the love that we have for this country that is making us shouting. But you know what? We love you too, but God love you most. Until then, we'll say chooks, bye bye, adios. We'll catch you when we make the next video.